Hey everybody, this is Todd Mcfarlane, creator of Spawn, co-founder of Image, and co-creator of Venom, and you're watching PREVIEWSworld Weekly. Thanks for joining.
What's up, PREVIEWSworld? It's Wednesday, it's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for PREVIEWSworld Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're here every week to remind you guys to stop at a comic shop and get involved in what's happening in the world of comics. And we want to remind you, if you're watching the show and you're enjoying it, give us a like and a follow wherever you're watching.
Yeah, and so, all right, there was a Wonder Woman tease this past week.
Yeah.
That I actually think was, between the Dark Phoenix thing and the Wonder Woman thing, this is like the bigger, this is kind of like the more positive thing.
For
so
sure.
Let's start with this.
It's so shiny.
It's very shiny. I love that image. It's really
graphically,
cool.
that image is super cool.
Right, yeah, and if they're setting the tone for what the rest of the movie's going to be like, I'm all for it.
Bring it.
Yeah, I saw a few people saying that it's like her gold costume. I don't know if that's just promotional or if she's actually going to wear it in the movie. But I saw a few people saying that it was referencing her gold armor, and like from Kingdom Come.
Yeah,
it doesn't look anything like.
No.
And
her Harvey Birdman look.
Yeah, you call it the Harvey Birdman look. Right, and You do cosplay as Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and it reminded me of the version that I did recently with my cosplay, which is the David Finch illustration with the pauldrons, and it just looks slightly more armory. Her bracers are a little longer. Right. But it just sort of, particularly the shoulders and like this general area. Felt to me more like that. And like the sort of more goddess gold armor look. Doesn't really have that.
No,
but it is all gold, so maybe they're like just taking the elements of a bunch of them and going, here you go.
Yeah, no, you made a good point about it. I was like, maybe they are fusing that when you said that earlier. So yeah, I totally get that. But I mean, it looks cool.
It's beautiful.
I really like Patty Jenkins as a director. So I'm kind of I've been kind of slowly rooting for her since Monster, which was like a long time ago.
Fair.
But I'm very curious to see what they're going to do in this '80s backdrop, and also what Chris Pine has to do with any of this at this point too. That's also kind of interesting. Sure. And Maxwell Lord might be in it. I don't know. I'm just really curious.
We
about
shall
what
see.
We're going to see. We did mention Dark Phoenix earlier.
Yes.
Did you see it?
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either. So
I haven't had time to see it. To be fair, but I would like to see it, honestly. Yeah. But it's not one that I was like rushing to the theater to see, right?
Yeah. I'm sure I'll see it eventually, just because out of morbid curiosity. Like I didn't even see the Fantastic Four they did with Michael B. Jordan and
me either.
Miles Teller. And,
I forgot that existed until you just said that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, I should say I didn't see it in theaters, and I saw it like 2 years later, just because I was
still
like,
haven't seen it
really as bad as everybody? And I was like, it's not awful, but it's just
it's fine.
It's just I won't go that far.
No.
It's just pointless.
Oh.
It's just
so not even neutral, just like. Oop.
Yeah.
Why? Question mark.
Right. And I kind of got the same vibe off of this.
Well, most people are feeling that way about this. They're sort of like, we didn't really ask for this, and it's not looking like what we wanted this to look like if we had asked for it. Right.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. We'll see.
Like there's a meme floating around that's it's like 3 Michael Fassbenders over the course of like what I think it's the X-Men First Class starts in the 50s.
Yeah.
I forget which one's in the 60s, and then and then Days of Future Past in the 70s, and then I guess Dark Phoenix is in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then like you jump forward to X-Men from 2000, and it's Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart.
And and you're like, oh. Whoa.
Yeah, like what happened during those 10 years? So I saw that meme a couple of times, and I was like, that kind of encompasses the kind of illogic and kind of disregard that these movies have kind of had for their own continuity. So
yeah, but I mean, like comics kind of do that too.
They do, but they don't. I feel like really good comics make an effort to kind of connect those things.
That's fair.
When comics don't do that, people complain for a reason.
Yeah.
Also, I got to point out, Deadly Class and Happy got canceled this week.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfortunate. Like I will say I didn't watch the show, so I'm kind of part of the problem, but I also don't have the Sci-Fi Channel.
Me either.
But I did watch Happy on Netflix and actually really enjoyed it. And I know Johnny was watching the TV show and he was talking it up really big, Deadly Class.
Aww.
So,
sorry, Johnny.
But I do want to point this out. The comic is still out.
It's true.
Comics are still out.
You can still get the story.
Right. Happy, the miniseries, that was just a miniseries, ended after 6 issues or whatever. But Deadly Class is still continuing. So definitely pick up the comic at your local comic shop. I love the comic. Like, I actually wanted to see the show, but I was like, I got the comic, so I can deal with it.
Exactly.
Also, last thing, E3 did happen.
Yeah. Well, the beginning.
Well, it's still happening.
It is. It has begun.
It has begun, right. Like, we both talking about the Cyberpunk 2077 trailer, which is interesting. Yeah, right.
It's cool looking.
It looks
like,
cool.
Visually, again, stunning.
Yeah,
super cool, right? I like the character designs.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
And I know Keanu came out and blew everybody's mind.
Of course.
Right.
He's such a character. I love him.
Right,
as a person.
Right. No,
like, not even his character, like, in the game or any, just Keanu.
Right.
As a human being.
Just a decent dude.
So good.
Right. I actually ended up on YouTube, like, just following a trail of videos of, like, Keanu Reeves just being kind to people.
I think there's a Facebook page that I follow that's just Keanu Reeves doing things.
Right.
And literally that's what it's called, I think. And it's just so nice.
I think we should all excel to be more like Keanu at this point.
It's true.
Then Google announced Stadia. And actually did it like before the show itself. But I thought it was interesting because I was talking to a friend of mine and you kind of like expounded on this a little bit. The PlayStation and Xbox are kind of trying to team up because they're sweating Google a little bit. Like it's like
cross-platform.
They're doing cross-platform. Okay, yeah. And like I just think that's interesting, like, you know, especially since it's a Japanese company and an American company, and typically those lines have been very firm.
Yes.
You know, but they're sweating because of Google. So yeah, we'll see.
A lot of people sweat because of Google.
It's a real thing, and for good reason. But anyway, that's all the stuff going on in the world of geekdom. But we're a comic show, so let's talk about some comics. Anna Mia's here, and she's going to show us what's at comic shops this week. And when we come back, we'll give you some of our picks. Check it out.
Hey Previews World, Mia here with a look at what's at comic shops for the week of June 12th, 2019. So let's jump on in. Is that it? No way. Your comic shop has something for every type of customer. So stop at a comic shop today, and I'll see you back here next week.
Thanks, Mia, and of course that's just a taste of what is out this week. If you want to see a full rundown of what's available, head on over to previewsworld.com/new releases and you can see everything that's going to be available. What do you got?
Prison School number 13. It's from Yen Press. I haven't talked about this comic on the show at all. It's a manga, first of all. I need to point that out. But I love it. Like, it was suggested to me just like as something like I was itching to get back into manga, and like someone said, check this book out based off of my tastes, which are already kind of absurd. And it is absurd. Like, it is like ridiculous. It's kind of a teen sex comedy.
Of course.
And we're gonna delve into it more. We're gonna do a Get Graphic video about it because I just think it's worth like just kind of exploring. It's just amusing, and like it's prison school. I mean, that's really what it is. Like, these kids get in trouble and they get thrown into basically a prison within the school because of what they've done. And it's about them trying to escape and do time, and they're doing time, and like, not for the faint of heart.
Oh my
gosh. If you're easily offended, you probably shouldn't read this book.
Fair.
But yeah, just a lot of fun. Also, do not Google this.
No.
Yeah, there's some fan art. Also, the book itself is kind of pretty out there, but there's some fan art online. Like, if
when
you
just say Get Graphic.
Yeah, this is going to be a very Get Graphic. I might steal that one, actually. Like, yeah, it's going to get graphic. Like, yeah, be careful Googling that at work. Like,
oh my.
What are you looking forward to?
We have Sonata number 1.
Okay, yeah.
And this, of course, was a judge the book by the cover for me. It was beautiful cover art.
It was,
and this, of course, is, again, one of those books that's way up Thea's alley. We have two cultures that are clashing on a planet that they both believe is their promised land. And we have, you know, the clan of like peace-loving people, they're called the Rands, and then the Tayans, or the Tyans, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, are the warriors who want to colonize and control everything. So we've got the mysterious sleeping giants who are already on this planet. They call it home, so they've got to deal with that. And then there's a young woman named Sonata, and she's going to try and figure out how to find her place and, you know, try and bring everybody together.
Everyone together, yeah. I was reading the description of that last week, earlier this week, and it reminded me a little bit of Ronin Island a little bit. Isn't it the same thing about the two warring sides?
Yeah, so it's sort of like Space Ronin Island.
Right, right. That's kind of interesting. Definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Another pick of mine this week, Silver Surfer Black number 1.
Oh boy.
If you've been reading Guardians of the Galaxy, which you should definitely read it right now. A bunch of the cosmic heroes kind of like were trying to foil a scheme of the recently deceased Thanos. And basically they got sucked into a black hole. Except for a handful of them that escaped. One of the ones that escaped was Beta Ray Bill, but one of the ones that didn't escape is the Silver Surfer. And so this is about him inside that black hole. Huh. And the Surfer's typically been a very kind of like a, he waxes poetic a lot and very philosophical character. And he's also just OP as hell. So like...
Very Dr. Manhattan.
Yes, very Dr. Manhattan. I would like to see that, actually. I would like to see them duke it out now that you mention it. So this is about him inside that black hole. And I'm assuming that some of the other characters are also still in there, of course. So yeah, if you're reading Guardians of the Galaxy and you're reading the Donny Cates series particularly, check this book out, because I'm very curious what they're going to get out of this. It's a mini-series, so, it's got a beginning, middle, and end, and probably good add-on to that series.
Right.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else are you looking forward to?
Glow number 2.
Nice.
I love Glow.
Oh, yeah.
Glow is so good. Of course, we've got the Star Primas of the Wrestling Federation here, and they're up against the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, right? And they're basically just trying to prove that they're not losers.
Right. Which is kind of how the show is.
yeah, for sure. But of course, it's based on the Netflix show, so you've got some extra little stories with all these great characters. And I love the cover for this one as well.
Cool.
Like the way that they're drawn is just, they're adorable.
All right. No, I love that. Actually, I love that show too. We've talked about that show before. That one's written by Teenie Howard, who actually is writing Thanos right now. So how about that?
What? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Right. It's like one of these things is not like the other. But yeah, I'm actually very curious about the book myself. Also out this week, something else you should check out, Event Leviathan from DC Comics. It's Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev. This is a team that gave you probably one of the best Daredevil runs. Actually, not probably. It's one of the best Daredevil runs. And they're now over at DC doing something pretty big. It's about Leviathan, which I've talked about before when I talk about Silencer, the series. Basically, it's Talia al Ghul's League of Assassins, and they're pretty much in just take over the world mode at this point in time, which I think is kind of interesting. And I'm curious how this is going to affect Silencer. Hopefully, it impacts it in a big way, because that book has been focusing specifically on Leviathan for the last year and a half, I want to say. So definitely check that out. Event Leviathan from DC, Brian Michael Bendis, Alex Maleev. Check it out. What else can people look forward to?
We also have Archie number 705. So this is following the Archie and Sabrina arc. And it's a new era beginning as the enchanting romance between Archie and Sabrina intensifies.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of fun. I mean, I love Sabrina, first off, right?
So. All right. That's a good combo, actually. This is kind of left field, but also maybe not that left field.
Not really.
Right. I mean, they're in the same universe, so
exactly.
Whatever. And they go to the same school, I guess, right? Is that a thing?
No.
No, they don't.
But
right.
I'm assuming they do now.
Okay, yeah, I'm assuming they
in
do.
this one, right?
Am I bad for wanting that to just turn ugly? I just feel because witchcraft is involved, it should just go sideways. That's just me personally.
No, I'm down for that.
Right,
I'm down for that, yeah.
It shouldn't just be a happy
easy,
ending.
yeah.
Something ugly should happen.
Let's make it a wreck.
Maybe Veronica says the wrong thing, gets turned into a puddle of mud or something. I don't know. That's just me.
Right.
But yeah, that's Nick Spencer, who's writing Amazing Spider-Man right now, so definitely check that out. So we're going to kick it over to news now, but I'm going to say this right now, spoilers, because there's a news item about Walking Dead that we're going to have to talk about, and I kind of spoiled it for our timeline on Facebook and Twitter the other day.
Yeah, so if you're reading The Walking Dead, caution, there's big old spoiler, and it is first item on the news here. So.
Yeah, so sorry guys, but now let's go ahead and do news.
All right, reiteration, there's a spoiler ahead if you have not read The Walking Dead number 191 and 192. All right, you have been warned.
Avert your eyes.
Image and Skybound Entertainment is pleased to announce that The Walking Dead number 192 by Robert Kirkman and Charlie Adlard is immediately being rushed back to print in order to keep up with overwhelming customer demand for this event issue, and will get a commemorative cover treatment. This commemorative cover will feature imagery showcasing the latest twist to the series, and will be on shelves the same day as The Walking Dead number 193 hits stores. The Walking Dead number 192 will be available on Wednesday, July 3rd.
Yeah.
There it is, guys.
Yeah. So, actually, they did mention that Rick dies. So I just did, so sorry. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the big thing here is and I kind of goofed and put it on Twitter. Well, I put the cover on Twitter, and I didn't realize oh wait, there's got to be
the cover is oh.
Right. Oh. It literally says, like, I think from, like, whatever the book debuted to like, 2019.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
So,
but
yikes,
there you go.
My bad, guys.
And I'm not going to lie, I totally thought he was already dead.
Yeah, I was actually a little surprised by that, too.
I was surprised that he made it that far.
Yeah. Also, the timing of it, too, because I know the actor just is about to, I don't know if he's about to bolt or he has bolted from the show. Ah. So, you know.
He's already gone.
He's already gone. Johnny says he's already gone, so.
Peace.
Oh, well. Sorry, Rick.
Oh, well. Next up, during the DC Inc. panel at BookCon 2019, with authors Cami Garcia, Danielle Page, Lauren Miracle, and Mariko Tamaki, DC made several exciting announcements for the publisher's upcoming young adult graphic novels, revealing a new trailer and title for the highly anticipated Teen Titans series, and the artists and covers for the spring 2020 slate. In anticipation of its July 2nd release, DC debuted an official trailer for Teen Titans Raven during the panel, written by Cami Garcia and illustrated by artist Gabriel Piccolo. We also got a first look at Garcia and Piccolo's next Teen Titans installment, Teen Titans Beast Boy. Ahead of its 2020 release, a sneak preview of the book will be available in Teen Titans Raven when the book goes on sale. DC ended the discussion announcing the artists for previously announced young adult graphic novels debuting in spring 2020 and gave fans a first look at the covers. To check out the full lineup of creative teams and covers, head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com. I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah. We were looking at Gabriel's artwork beforehand.
Oh my gosh, I love Piccolo's artwork so much.
It's really nice.
It pleases me in many ways. Plus, I love Teen Titans. We know that about me, right? So yeah, it's such a good combination of people and things.
No, absolutely. Actually, the DC Inc. line, like I'm assuming it was their debut title, the Catwoman title, ended up being the top seller of last month.
Cool.
So, and it's gotten a lot of favorable reviews. So, you know, we're going to actually talk later about how to get new readers into the business of comics. Well, how to get new readers into comics, period. Yeah. And I think DC Inc. is a good example of that.
For sure.
Like, it's skewing towards YA and a YA audience, and I wish them all the luck. Keep going.
Very good, very good. Grab your Lancer, it's time to suit up for another mission. Udon Entertainment, Xbox, and the Coalition are thrilled to announce the release of Gears of War Retrospective, the first 10 years, an extensive history of the Gears of War franchise in advance of the highly anticipated 2019 release of Gears 5. With its acclaimed gameplay, intense characters, and visceral action, the award-winning Gears of War franchise helped to define the modern shooter genre. Written by Arthur Gies, Gears of War Retrospective, the first 10 years, is a detailed look into the history of Gears through the words of its developers, designers, and artists. Fans of the series will not want to miss Gears of War Retrospective, the first 10 years. With over 250 pages of commentary, concept art, and key visuals, it will also include all new tribute artwork created specifically for the book, as well as a comic art gallery featuring some of the biggest names in the industry. Super cool.
Yeah, well, I don't like Gears of War. It's annoying. I had a bad experience.
I mean, I don't play it, but it conceptually is. Oh, you said you didn't like the first one.
I didn't like the first one.
It was too hard for you.
There's nothing.
This guy.
Yeah, like you're right. Yeah. This is totally self-motivated.
I can't play it.
Right, I don't like it. It's like it does this thing where it's like you're like running and strafing at the same time, and it makes it hard to duck and hide behind stuff.
Life is difficult.
Whatever. I mean, good for the Gears fans. I mean, like actually, Gears of War 5. They just did a whole reveal with
Gears
it, like
5.
Oh, Gears 5.
Okay.
My bad. Whatever. No, okay. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just watched the trailer this week, so I mean, it just dropped, so of course I just watched it this week, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it looks cool. I mean, like my own personal bias is just like I got beef with Gears of War.
They had a good soundtrack in that trailer. That's all I know.
Oh, okay.
It's worth it to watch because I think you will enjoy that much. Yeah. The song they've got going is like, oh yeah.
I'll stop hating. I'll watch the trailer.
Do it. It's pretty.
Okay, fine.
And bloody, but pretty.
All right. That's a good combination. I like them.
It's true. Last but not least, Image Comics is pleased to announce that a second printing of Image Comics president Todd Mcfarlane's Spawn number 297 has been greenlit in order to keep up with increasing demand for the long-running series. Momentum and frenzied buzz surrounding the classic anti-hero series continues to build, leading into historic Spawn number 300 and record-breaking Spawn number 301, when Spawn becomes the longest-running creator-owned comic in the world. Spawn is currently being adapted for film, a gritty R-rated reimagining, which will also mark Todd McFarlane's film directorial debut. McFarlane is also on board as screenwriter and co-producer with Blumhouse Productions. So keep an eye out for that, and in the meantime, the second printing of Spawn 297 will be available on Wednesday, June 26th.
Yeah, and we have a McFarlane I call it a teaser interview later in the show. Like we got to talk to him in Las Vegas. Have I mentioned that I talked to Todd Mcfarlane? I feel like I've said it like about 17 times.
Say.
Right, it's all over my Instagram.
You're allowed to be excited.
Right. One of my coworkers came up to me after the interview. He's like, "You seem very excited to talk to him." I was like, "Okay, maybe a little bit." But yeah, he talks about his career. But like specifically, the interview we're going to show you later is him just kind of like talking more about Spawn 300 and lead up to Spawn 300. So definitely stay tuned. And check that out. I also wanted to point out, it didn't make the news this week because we're recording a little bit earlier than normal, but Marvel's been teasing this thing called No Compromise, No Mercy, which is not even, I don't think it's the title of the book, it's just like what they're kind of like, the event name, event name or whatever it is. And it features, it's got Blade in it, which I think is automatically makes it cool.
Yes.
The Hood, Angela, Damian Hellstorm, and Bucky. So, and
intriguing.
People are speculating that it's like a Dark Avengers team,
cool.
which is interesting. But I don't want to speculate too much because we don't actually know what it is. But the announcement's coming after we're recording the show, so at least want to give it a nod, and then we'll expound on it next week. So. But other than that, it's time for toys now. Plenty of stuff is hitting your comic shop, including action figures and collectibles. Here's Natasha, and she's going to show you what's inside the Previews toy chest.
Previews World, Natasha here, and I'm going to give you a look at some of the new toys and collectibles in stores today. Here's this week's Previews Toy Chest. Be sure to check with your local comic shop for availability. And to see more, head over to PREVIEWSworld.com/talkingtoys to see our new show, Talking Toys. There you'll feast your eyes on more hot new collectibles.
Thanks, Natasha, and you can find out more of what's available to your local comic shop this week. Go on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/toychest. Almost didn't get it out, but I got it. Was there anything in particular like caught your eye?
Quite a bit of stuff, actually. The little Nintendo figures.
Those are cool, actually. Yeah.
I love me the little piranha plant. And then Ghostbusters.
Yeah, those are actually surprisingly detailed. Like, I mean, I own Pops, but sometimes they can be, based on, depending on the character, they can be pretty flat, or they can be actually really cool. And those are actually pretty well detailed.
I like them.
Those are a lot of fun.
I like them a lot.
So, yeah, definitely check all that stuff out. We don't have a giveaway this week.
No, not a toy giveaway.
Not a toy giveaway.
We do have a giveaway.
Yeah.
But it is not a toy.
And we're going to force you guys to watch the rest of the show, and we're going to kick it over to the end of the show. But if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan or a Dragon Ball fan, you should definitely tune in because it's a massive giveaway. And if you're a manga fan in general, definitely a massive giveaway that you should pick up.
Yeah. But we do have the winner.
But we do have the winner this week.
From last week, right? Where we asked between all the figures that we had Aquaman, Darkseid, and Shazam, who would win in that fight. And our winner is Mike Pierce, who said Shazam all the way. How can he lose when he yells Shazam at the top of his lungs? Fair.
Fair point.
Fair point.
I'll give you that.
Fair point.
Like, no, that was a lot of fun. That was another one where we got like a lot of kind of amusing responses, and I kind of got lost in the comments, just kind of looking what people are saying.
Solid.
So, it's just like, just embrace the nerd and just start speculating and just have fun with the little verses opportunities we provide. So I mentioned Todd Mcfarlane earlier in the show. The wait is over. Here's Todd Mcfarlane at Las Vegas. He's talking to me a little bit about Spawn 300, but also just kind of his thought process about getting to 300 and what it means for his particular series, what it means for the character. But check this out, Todd Mcfarlane. Hey, Previews World. I'm here in Las Vegas with Todd Mcfarlane.
Hey, how you doing today?
How's it going, man?
Good.
So you've made history quite a few times before, and now you're about to break records with Spawn 300, right?
300 will be will tie the record.
Yeah.
And so the record that I keep talking about is Dave Sims' Cerebus. When I remember when we were both younger, he came out with that black and white aardvark book.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome. But he vowed he was going to do 300 issues, and true to his word, he did. He did 300 and then he quit. And so 300 will tie the record for the longest running in creator-owned book on the planet. On the planet, not in comic books in America, and on the planet.
On the planet, right.
And then 301 really to me is the one, because that's the new record setter.
Right.
So those two books are going to be linked. 300 and 301 are going to be linked in story.
Awesome.
People have also asked me, are you going to renumber Spawn? Are you going to do a number one? The answer is no. No, I will never do it. But I've thought about before, and I may even still do it because I'm just immature at times. I may actually take, at some point, my book and have two numbers on it. The ongoing number, and then in the corner, a number one. And then the next month, the ongoing number, and then a one in the corner. And if the reason you're buying the book is because of a number, it's absurd to me, right? So cover up then the 362 number, which I'm going to get to at some point, and look at the one, if that's what it takes. Because what's absurd is that even if I renumbered it, it would be the same writer, the same penciler, the same inker, and the same storyline, and everything the same character. But it's got a number one on it. Now, people say, well, it's a good jumping on point. Again, I find that to be absurd. Because why? If that was true, nobody would go to a New York Yankees game. Why? They'd walk in and they'd go, I never got to see Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Mickey Mantle. I've missed all those other games. How could I possibly get into this game today where we've got Aaron Judge playing and we've got CC Sabathia? I missed it. No. What are you talking about? People jump in the middle of records from bands, in the middle of TV shows, in the middle of sporting event. Of course they can jump into the middle of a franchise, and then you can go back. And if that's the hurdle leading up to 300, issue 296 and 297 is a recap of the 300 issues. So if you want the Reader's Digest and you don't want to have to go buy or even sort of get caught up, read those two issues and you will be caught up and you can hit the ground running.
And I should point out that Spawn number 300 is actually available to pre-order now. It's going to arrive August 28th, and they're currently doing a Road to Spawn 300, like in the books. It's starting at, I think 297 was the one that recently dropped, but it's basically the entire history of the character. So like he mentioned before, you can get caught up really fast. So, and I know it's a big deal for a lot of people because Spawn really was a major milestone for comics in general.
Absolutely, for sure.
Definitely check that out, and we will have more from that interview. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm not gonna under promise, but something's happening with that interview, and it's a lot longer, and there's some interesting retrospective stuff that might be coming down the line.
I like that.
But now it's time for Social Swamp. This week, we asked you guys, how do you get new readers into comics? Because I know that's a reoccurring thing, and we had some really good answers, some incendiary ones too.
Of course.
But I thought this was pretty interesting. So now check it out, Social Swamp.
So yeah, we wanted to know what you guys thought about the concept of getting new readers into comics, and here are some of your ideas. Kristen Anderson said, quit changing things to bring in new people. If the real fans aren't excited for it, they won't draw in new readers. The characters have been around for a long time for a reason. They have outlived artists, writers, editors, and VPs. It's fair enough.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Kyle Benton said, advertise comic shops before the movies and where to find them.
Duh.
Fair enough, man. Pretty obvious one. But also, if it's that obvious, then why haven't we done it yet?
Fair point.
Michael McGill said, start labeling when a new story kicks off on the cover and how many parts it will be. They used to do this a lot. And they do it a little bit still, for sure, with a lot of little mini-series or side stories or one-shots and stuff. But that's a good point to sort of orient a reader. There was
the Kelly Sue DeConnick Aquaman. I thought they did something really smart. They made the actual issue number kind of small, so it was kind of in the corner. For the purists, for the people who are still collecting. Sure. But part one was featured very prominently on the cover, and I think that's a really good way to go about that. So yeah, I completely agree.
Make it a little more obvious, right?
Yeah.
And then we have Cruz Hernandez, who said, when someone comes in and says they're interested but don't know where to start, I walk the wall with them and point out the bestsellers. But More importantly, I give them a copy of Previews.
Oh, shout out to us. It was like cheating, Cruz. I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, I was like, well, that's definitely going in there.
Oh, Cruz.
Give ourselves a little pat on the back. You know, so can I give a little hot take real quick?
Go for it.
My personal attitude on this. I got to do I got to do a career day thing at a local elementary school recently, and kids gravitate towards comics.
Of course.
I mean, they're colorful, they've got action, and it's just kids love to draw. It's it's creative expression. They naturally gravitate towards them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's necessarily all the obvious roadblocks are there.
Right.
But the one that I think is the biggest one that I think nobody ever talks about, because people have a lot of theories, is I think people don't like to read. And I think then I know that's a bummer, and I understand why people don't bring that up. But I've had people say oh no, but Game of Thrones is super popular and Harry Potter's super popular. First of all, those are movies and TV shows. You know, in addition to books, but also a lot of that stuff came out 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Those things established their audience in the late 90s.
I mean, there's a reason that a lot of bookstores are closing now too.
Right. You know.
Yeah. People just don't like to. I mean, print, as opposed to digital, is also a whole other issue, right?
Yeah.
But reading in general, I feel has been sort of on decline.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we see it all the time.
And as much as you get mostly pictures, you still have to actually read.
You still have to actually read. You have to engage with the text.
Yeah.
And I think it became clear to me the more time I spent on social media, to be honest, because you see a lot of people giving hot takes about things, but they didn't actually read them.
Right.
Right. Or people read the headline.
Exactly. And they take that as that's what this is. So I'm going to speak to that. Meanwhile, the article might be, quite frankly, the opposite of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you're misinterpreting the headline.
And everybody has a part in that, right? I mean, I'm not just placing the blame on. It's not even blame. I'm not even placing it on just the readers, but also when we're talking about news.
Yes.
It's also the responsibility of these media sites and all this other stuff, because they're just kind of giving you everything in the headline, but that's not necessarily what's happening.
No, and I think the irony there is too that they write these headlines in order to try and get people to read the things, but they're still not reading them. So it's not working. But
Right. So it's it's a big problem, and I think that what comics definitely need now is, look, when I was in school, I'm going to age myself a little bit. When I was in high school and junior high school, there was a reading is fundamental. That was a campaign that was going around.
Yes.
I think comics need that specifically for comics.
Sure.
The prose world can do whatever they want to do, but for our purposes, I think comics need that. So
that's not far off.
Yeah, so I just, I know a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about it.
Of course they do.
But and I think that, I don't think any particular answer is the right answer.
No.
It's a lot of different things.
It's a lot of things.
But I think that that's a big one right there.
Yeah,
so.
that's a really good one.
But you guys can prove me wrong.
That's true.
Because speaking of reading, we have a giveaway this week.
Yes.
And it's a monster giveaway, and it's going to require you to read all of it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't require you to read it.
No, I'm going to say it requires you to read it.
But it's giving you the opportunity.
Yeah, it's giving you the opportunity. You should read all of it.
So, y'all. Okay.
There you go.
But wait.
Look at that.
There's more.
Actually, here, let me spin this around. Yeah, there's definitely more. There you go. That's one. Make sure I'm getting that in the camera.
Uno, right?
There you go. Mm-hmm.
And then.
Good Lord.
Additional.
You hear that thud. That's how you know it's real.
They're heavy, my friends. They are definitely heavy. So this is the Dragon Ball Z complete box set and Dragon Ball complete box set.
Yeah.
Right?
All manga, not videos.
Yep.
Not DVD, not Blu-ray.
You're going to have to read some stuff.
You're going to have to read some stuff.
If you love reading some stuff and you love Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z in any capacity, now's the time to win. So hit us up on social media, wherever you can find us, and let us know what is a fusion that you would like to see between two characters that have not yet had a fusion in the storylines.
There you go.
And you can win these.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this right now. I don't know a lot about Dragon Ball, but I've been told by Johnny, who's clearly the Dragon Ball fan in the room, that there are a lot of characters have done a lot of different fusions on the show. So let us know. I know I'm
You can come up with some pretty funny ones, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you could.
I'm ready for those entertaining ones, my friends. Bring it on.
Bring it on. Bring it on. So yeah, definitely participate, and this is going to be a pain to ship off, but I'm happy to give it to you guys. So
They's
definitely
big
check
boys.
it out. Yeah.
They're big boys.
Cool. So what else do we have this week?
That's about it. All we have left is the comic shop shout out. And of course, if you want your local favorite comic shop to be featured on the show, hit us up on social media wherever you can find us. Use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS and let us know what your favorite comic shop is.
Cool.
This week, we are featuring Comic Book World in Louisville, Kentucky.
Nice.
And that was sent in by Lan Mikoto. So we will leave you with photos of that at the end of the show.
Yeah. So that's it for this week on Previews World Weekly. I have been one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the spinner rack.
Thanks for watching Previews World Weekly. If you like the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.